We have psephologist and economist Surjit Bhalla also joining us on this special broadcast. Dr. Bhalla, really appreciate your time here on NDTV. First two phases, what's your assessment particularly as we build up to the third phase, which is tomorrow, on the voter percentage going down? What's your reading into it?
Yeah, no, I've been following what the experts have been saying. And, all of them, I think, broadly agree that analysis of turnout is not the simplest thing in the world. So that's the first point I want to make. It's a very, very controversial, and you can get various different results depending on how you choose the time period when the turnout changed. The second, and I think a strong result over time, and which also fits into heuristic analysis, is that if a challenger has to succeed, then almost a necessary condition for the challenger to succeed is that the turnout goes up, increases. That shows there's a lot that is going to be a lot closer election than the previous one. So I think, and looking at the data for the first two phases, whether you look at men, whether you look at women, and whether you look at the total, is basically about 3 percentage points down from what it was last time. So I think I find it very difficult to read too much into the turnout of the first two phases, other than to say that it does not look like a very, very competitive election. On the other hand, now looking at tomorrow's, what happens, and both the NDA and India have large leads, as you have shown, or large margins from the previous election. So I think the most interesting aspect of tomorrow's election is going to be how the Congress constituencies fare in terms of turnout. And this will be a leading indicator of how well the Congress is doing. Remember, you showed that the margins of NDA and INDA in general were quite large, and therefore both of them can suffer some drawdown in their turnout. But the Congress, with only a 4% margin, so I've been very keenly watching. I haven't sort of followed turnout so much in the first two phases, but in this one, I think how Congress fares is going to be quite an interesting result.
All right, so just be with us as we roll out our next set of graphics, and we'll get to Maharashtra and pick your brains on that. Out of 11 seats up for election, 7 are located in western Maharashtra, 2 each in Marathwada and in the Konkan region. On the Baramati seat, the contest is between the NCP and the NCP Sharad Pawar, making it a test to determine what is, in the minds of people at least, the real NCP. The Maharashtra Pawar play, it's Pawar versus Pawar. Both the India Alliance and the NDA contesting 11. And of course, you've got the various factions, the NCP and the NCP loyal to Sharad Pawar. You've got the Shiv Sena and the Shiv Sena loyal to Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray as well. So it is in a sense a battle for identity. Let's move on to the next set of graphics in Maharashtra. And if we take a look at that, the phase 3 results, the total number of seats 11 in 2019. The BJP had done well over here. The BJP and the Shiv Sena had won 4 seats apiece, had won 8. The Congress and the NCP at that stage together had won 3, of which the NCP had won all 3. So this was an area where, this time around, the opposition is quite clearly devastated because their old alliances have been altered substantially. One more statistic over here on Marathas and the OBC vote over here. Where will it go this time? Who voted for whom? Let's take a look at what this was. The Maratha and OBC votes 2019, what it was. So There you have it. It's a breakup of the BJP and the Shiv Sena dominant among upper castes. Let's go back to the previous page if we can for a moment, go through that as well.
Yes.
The Marathas, 59% were with the BJP. OBCs, the BJP again strong, but among others, it's the Congress and the NCP stronger among SCs, or near about as close to SCs over there. Let's go to the next page. STs, I beg your pardon, and the Muslim community is where the Congress and the NCP were large. So, Surjit Bhalla, if you look at the state of alliances in Maharashtra last time to this time around, it's almost as if it's a brand new election with brand new players.
And very chaotic.
Looking at these numbers, I guess, and that's what you have been showing earlier, that this does look like NDA's day tomorrow. And therefore, I thought that the Congress was vulnerable in terms of the turnout and that one could read something. But if the margins are that large, then I'm not so sure the turnout for the Congress would also make much difference. So I think, and on the other hand, so that we all keenly follow what happens, is the change between the NDA and INDIA that might provide us useful insights as to what is happening in the election. So I think, all things considered, tomorrow's election does seem to provide. I mean, and Maharashtra is one of the most interesting states in this election, with this three-way fight and a close. It'll decide the future of many politicians and perhaps political parties as well.
Would you also say, Dr. Bhalla, that there were certain mistakes made in this alliance because, if you are in Baramati and I was in Nashik and that entire belt, you do sense that sympathy for Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray, that BJP perhaps went overboard in breaking parties is the larger sense. So how crucial is Maharashtra going to be? Because last time around, BJP won 23 of the 25 seats it's contested. And of course, the entire alliance with the Shiv Sena, it was a clean sweep for them.
Yeah. We saw what happened from the previous election, in the assembly election, when suddenly things changed because the Shiv Sena then aligned with the NCP, or the old Shiv Sena. I don't know what one calls it. So, I still get the feeling that exactly given the numbers, I'm not so sure. As I said, only a deviation from the last seat share, and there's no reason to think there won't be a deviation. But I think it'll be very, very interesting to look at the deviations from 2019 and then infer both about Maharashtra in general and what's happening in the rest of the country. So in that sense, given that it's an even battle, even in terms of the margins have been quite large for both the camps, that I think tomorrow evening I'll be watching you guys and see how you're interpreting both the turnout and any information that you get from the various constituencies. So, no, I think we're at the halfway stage, and it is getting, I guess, we are almost like the semi-final stage, or maybe in a T20 about the 10 over stage. So
little over the 10 over stage at this stage in terms of remaining seats.
So we're not in the last 3 overs.
No, not yet. Not yet. It's a very long process.
Yeah.
Some would suggest it feels like a test match at this stage because it's a pretty hot summer.